Thursday, the 8th of August 19, Hops 10. This is where I got to yesterday. I'm stopping more today to get as far at least as Mundesley. There's some serious erosion around here, some rocks to protect this end, but further on you can see that the cliff is falling into the sea at very high tides. There's a lighthouse. I shall be glad when the walk comes up the beach. I took the bus from Sea Pauling to Happisburgh, 10:48, got just got 10, so 9:48 from Sea Pauling, just got 10 here, and walked down. You can see the incline, the pullover type thing, which is sandy, in front of the church. I was a bit wary before I got here as to where the tide will be, because clearly the tide comes in and it's easy to get cut off. But so far so good. More erosion clearly shown there. I think the tide is coming in because these pools are getting fuller than when I walked down to the start point. Coming towards the pullover part, there's no signs on the beach to say we're walking along the beach, as they are now on the Skegness to Mablethorpe section. It might be helpful to do so. It's fairly obvious that you can't carry straight ahead though. Nearly at the drop down, the car park at the top. On the way, it was not very clear at all. There's not many signs. They've been eroded as well, I think, as well as the cliffs. I'm going to plod my way to the car park. So here's the access to the beach and exit from the beach, with some very big boulders. And up the slope we go, about halfway up, and very close to the edge. There is a boat out at the sea. And up at the top you can get a better view of the lighthouse. Getting nearer and nearer to the sea edge. Access to the car park straight ahead, and the signboard for
Wesley, come here.
the beach here. And through the gate, continuing ahead. It's at this point that we could do with the sign telling us to turn right. Lighthouse and some sort of visitor centre at the car park, pay and display of course. Right turn here and then a left turn at the end. This is one sign I did miss on the way to the start point, but it still needs one at the end of this secondary car park. But it's Mundesley 6 miles, up the lane for a few yards, and the right turn very soon. Very detailed signpost here. Happisburgh Borough, 7 miles circular walk, but we've got Norfolk Coast Path on the way I've just come, and we've got Norfolk Coast Path and the circular walk, but the coast path goes down here. Road closed, but not to walkers. I'm pleased the path has come off the sand. It's slow walking on the sand, and it fills your shoes with sand as well. This is close to vehicles, as you can see. Probably some coastal erosion very soon through that narrow gap there. It did say the coast path goes this way, but I can't see where it's going at the moment. It looks very dangerous here, so I must retrace my steps. Obviously can't carry on here. So I've retraced my step to the signboards here. On close inspection of that sign, the Norfolk Coast Path goes along this path. So through this mini wooded area, and we see a few yards further on the acorn. There we are. Now, does that mean the acorn turned right? I think it does. So along there, continue along this path then, along the top of the cliff. That sign was misleading in the sense that it's very rare to have two finger pointers pointing in the same direction. So I concluded that one was coming this way on the circular walk and the other one was going on that road. But we can see they're both pointing this way, and this is clearly the path. nicely mowed down and easy to walk, with the church at Happisburgh there. Happisburgh there. That's some sort of manor house. There looks like the end of the road, the overhang. A bit dangerous to walk on. Anyway, there's the sea. And there's the track. The top of the cliff. I suppose the path every few months has to be moved back a few yards. The erosion fairly regular here. It's getting quite close at this point. That's the indicator. And along we go. A lot of what I guess used to be groins. I don't think they have much effect on the sea now. An area fenced off just here. Coastal farm. No, coastal path. A few isolated caravans ready to move back any day. Because of the roughness of the area underfoot, I guess that not too distant past that there would have been caravans along this stretch as well. There's an outflow pipe of some sort sticking out, because that won't erode, it'll just drop when we come to the end of the pipe. These two are derelict caravans, the gas broken at the church, and away we're going while we can. At this rate, unless something serious is done to the protection of the cliffs, the church will be on the cliff edge and in danger. Here I've joined another path that was slightly further inland, probably soon to be taken over by the England Coast Path as the recognised route. My guess is that these caravans were not removed by their owners when the site was declared dangerous, so they're just left to decay, fall into pieces like the one at Underby Creek. I wonder how safe it is walking on the England Coast Path in this area, because the councils can't keep completely up to date with how close to the edge the path is, and after a section erodes, as has happened here, the path just stops, then it's going to be some time before official signage is put in place for diversions. So this is a bit close to the edge. I hope there's no overhang here. Norfolk Coast Path, pointing straight out to sea. There, straight over there. There's a notice there that says beware unstable and eroding cliff edge. But that's the way the path goes, with some advice: please keep 5 metres back from cliff face at all times. So as it erodes, you move further inland. Rather tricky to keep 5 metres away from the edge, because the field has been ploughed and potatoes growing nicely, but the soil at the side is impossible to walk on, I suggest. What happens here? The path turns to the right. Goodness me, that's even closer to the edge. Over the hump, and it can continue. Looking back, straight behind on the path that I am now, you can see that that section has disappeared. Continuing on this wide track, a little bit further away from the edge, I'm used to say. Along the top of the cliff. A runner has just passed me going south, and there's a couple walking towards me now. Some old sea defence, is it? Air defence from the war. Two rather large aerials in the distance. And looming over the edge here, we can see a lot of buildings. Nowhere near Mundesley yet. That was 6 miles. Probably still 5 miles to go. Gradually sloping downwards now. Different crop in this field. Don't know what it is. turnip or some similar root crop. Certainly a big fat round sphere. Spheres tend to be round. Close erosion just here. A lovely treasure beach, completely deserted below the cliffs. And a delightful spot for these houses, bungalows, but they're so close to the edge. And in the distance it's Bacton gas terminal, which is having some beach work done, supported by companies that own the terminal, the county council, the local council, to protect the terminal, because over the past years since it's been placed there, the sea has got closer and closer, and it's in danger now. We shall see when we get onto the coast path in front of it, I believe. We come to the end of that field, but there's another field with a similar crop. I think I can see it looks like the same crop. The path is turning away. I think it might be going to the left of these properties. No, that's the edge of the field. It does turn here and go across the open area and then onto the road in front of the properties. And caravan on this grassed area, going to the bungalows. There's a sign at the end of the track. The sign says straight on, but the barrier is in the way. So does it mean crawling into the barrier? Which I'm not going to do. I'm going to go around the barrier onto the road here, which are very nice, but I think within 5 years they will be in the sea. So as we approach the end of the cul-de-sac, we come to the bungalows on either side. Our coastal path sign turns us right. And then left. Down another road with properties on both sides. One is for sale. It's not a dead end here. The road turns slightly to the right. It continues still with properties on the right hand side, most at risk from the erosion. Property on the left sold, and the property on the right, much closer to the sea, also sold. They have some confidence in perhaps 5 years of use. A communal grass area, houses over there, village hall, coffee mornings. And at the end of the road, we've got a signpost here. Norfolk Coast Path twice. Norfolk Coast Path diversion route, and interestingly the left-hand pointer has been eliminated, I suppose you'd say. Not being chopped off. Would have been easier to do that, I think. Well, this is amazing. The red section is a restricted area. That's in front of the gas station, gas place that arrives from out in the North Sea. And there is diversion route, the dark green route, Walcott, along the roads there, and that way through Bacton and Bacton up to Mundesley that way. Well, that is disappointing. What a long way around. But that is what I'll have to do. We're at Walcott. Instead of going that way, we have to go on the green diversion route. I'll have a look down here to see what it's like. And these signs are still in existence, which is why that one wasn't chopped off, because in the autumn it'll be reinstated. So it goes off down there. The end of the track leading towards the sea. So This is called Ostend Gap, and the coastal path goes down to the sand and then along the sand area. I'm going to go down this way. You can walk along the front for some way, so I'm going to see how far I can go. This is the signboard describing the scheme to protect Bacton Terminal. So the track turns here and along this area. So far so good. This way will get me quite a long way towards Mundesley. I see no point in doing a diversion route when this section is clearly open. There's a beach access here, so the path changes slightly. I was hoping there'd be a repeater sign on this post, but no sign of anything. Something on this side had been ripped off. The removal of beach material was illegal and deceit. My intention is to continue along the official coast path route until I can go no further, find my own legal diversion route and pick it up on the far side of the works. We're at Walcott. Continuing along the next section. The coast path sign says straight on. Whether that means along the road or the promenade, I don't know. So I'm suggesting to myself it means along the road. So no need for a diversion at that point, so far. Walcott, with the mace and the road right next to the sea. The road continues. Another sign about the Bacton to Walcott scheme. At this point the road turns away from the sea. I suppose the path follows the edge of the sea rather than the road. See a sign that says Bacton came here with host season holidays. The sign for Bacton, just that. And the sign to Walcott showing the other way. So where does the coastal path go? A hidden sign, hidden by this huge notice. That's what the boat is out at sea, gathering the sea and sand, gathering the sand up rather. So here's the coast path. The boat gathers the sand and it's deposited through a tube, I think, where it's needed in front of the terminal. This section is almost as bad as walking on the sand down below. Very loose, hard going. It's possible to get somewhere yet. Keep going while I can. Carrying on this bit of front, which goes into more like a proper footpath here. The typical Norfolk stone wall. Churches all like this. Coming to a different variety of sea defence along the front. Instead of steps, it's the slope. There's another sign here. I think it enables us to carry on along the top there. So across this pullover area and onto the other side, which is here. I can see in the not too far ahead the tractors working on the beach, so it might be worth videoing them, and then I've got to find an alternative route to get past. This is Bacton Beach. Must have been on here before. I know the popular marathon came down from Sheringham along the sand area, came off at Bacton Green and then went in on 50-mile walk on that one. And it looks as if there's no barrier there, but the gentleman stopping people from going any further. There is a barrier on the beach. Right, speaking to a very kind gentleman here, I'm allowed a bit further along, so let me continue. We've got some pipes, looks as if they're extending the pipes and the sun comes through those pipes. Some huge pipes here. All the pipes along the beach, extended as the work goes on. This part looks as if it's been cut through the pipes, and two security guards who've been escorting me along the top here. So far so good. We've come into the point where the sand comes in from the extraction on the boats. You can see the pipes going into the sea. So we can't be much further. I don't know whether I have to come away from the official path at all. At this point we see a sign here telling us to go straight on, so that's what I'm doing. The path changes here from the tarmac area, shingle, concrete, to the sandy track again. There's some fencing on the beach, and whether this is as far as I can go I don't know, we shall soon see. That still continues. Not been told off yet, but I think we might be coming to the end. The beach looks a bit remote, although there are people walking on it with dogs down there. I wonder if this was the chalet side that the two seasons. Typical caravans today. Still continuing along the front. There are some people further on. I'm allowed to go a little bit further and then I'll have to come off. This is where I've got to finish the walk. It looked as if it came down to the beach there, but it can't get down onto the beach. Well, so far so good. I can go down here and find 3 men who work for the company, and they will tell me whether I can carry on or not. There's the 3 men, I think. This has all been reclaimed. I suspect that it's not possible to go any further than there. It doesn't look like the end of it, because they're doing the tractor work down there. Since there are workmen working on the beach there, I've decided to come off the route and climb these steps through the caravan park and onto the road to get round the gas terminal. But I think that means, because there's no access the other side, that I will not be on the route until I get to Mundesley. You've got to get out. So that's where I'm coming off. The official walk goes along the beach to Mundesley. But as there's no way down, I think I have to take the road all the way to Mundesley. So the view of the gas terminal. And I'm making my way to the road. This is the Castaways Holiday Park. And here's the road. No pavement. I don't know whether there's a wide enough verge to walk along all the way. This is my diversion route. Obviously coming out to Bacton here. To Bacton. Gas terminal from the road, along the road, which is part of the official diversion route, but I picked it up much later on. 2 masts that I saw earlier on, and on the other side of the road it says the Bacton gas terminal is providing clean and competitive energy for Britain and Europe. Shell. Further works on the other side of the road. So it doesn't make a very exciting video. Walking alongside the roads is not the most exciting experience. So this is where Paston Road in Bacton, NR12, changes to Bacton Road in Paston, NR28. The road I'm taking winds its way through Paston. Rather narrow there, a bit dangerous on the corners. So this is where the Norfolk Coast Path diversion route comes in, and not what I said before, but it is directing us down the road there, so we ought to be able to pick up something there. It says Mundesley 1.5 on that signpost. What I'm hoping to do is nip back along the beach as far as I can to join up, as near as possible that is, with the official route. But so be it. Today has a diversion route. These things happen. I don't suppose I'm coming back to do the official route. I managed to follow the official route to very close to the gas terminal, then a slight diversion round the terminal on the main road, and then on the official diversion route down here. And the diversion route turns off the tarmac road along this track here. There's the gas terminal, and along this way. So we have this sign here, public footpath, no public access along cliff top, but there's no reference to the official way, so I'm going straight, and I'm glad I went straight ahead because here's the sign for the diversion route through the gate here. Field edge to the cliff edge, and then who knows, all the way along the route, just after 1 o'clock. The bus from Mundesley that calls at Sea Pauling is not until about 4:45, I think, so plenty of time. Quiet at the top of these cliffs, which is still a long way from the sea. Diversion route path is turning, and there's a repeater sign here telling us it's straight on along the field edge. I thought it was only a short way to the sea, but it's wending its way closer and closer to Mundesley. I think because there's no way down to the sand, it has to do this. So I'll see when I can get down onto the sand and backtrack. It's a pleasant route through the fields. Right along the edge of the cliff now. The official route on the sand, the unofficial route here, the official diversion route on top of the cliff. I suspect sticking to the road would have been more direct route. Anyway, we'll come to here, and it is a right turn. Here. Very open. A lot of temporary signs have been put in. There's another one coming up. Norfolk Coast Path diversion route with some sort of creature. The route continues. Looking down there, I think that might be the way down. That's the view looking back. How much of the beach is accessible at high tide, I don't know. And that's the way that I'm going. There's a chalet park on the top of the cliff here. Water tower on the outskirts of Mundesley. The route obviously has to descend. Here's a sign telling us straight on, which is downhill. There's a nice view of Mundesley. Dropping down on the diversion route, be able to pick up access to the beach. Dropping down to sea level all the time, but still some way to go. Looking at the beach at the moment, it's possible to get right down to where the works are. This is where the beach access starts, and the diversion route is directing us down there. Down there. Being the first access point from the cliff top. So here's the sign getting us back onto the official coast path and the diversion route, which would have been along the sea front down here, down there. So that's where I'm going to go. So the route has been blocked off by the rocks. There's no way I can get through there, so I'm not going to try. But the seaside of the groins I can. Coming down from Mundesley, this is as far as I can go, as far as I'm going to go. Clearly no one intended to go further. So looking north from here, which I shall continue in a few minutes when I've had my apple, That's looking towards Mundesley, where I've just walked back. And that will be along the official England Coast Path. That's looking south again, where the beach is closed, and looking north along the England Coast Path. That's the view looking south. Just get to my apple sitting on the steps there. That's the steps I've just come over. I came down walking on the other side, which is soft sand, so I'll walk back along the England Coast Path official route on this side. I have till 4:33, that's just over 2 hours, to get to Mundesley seafront bus stop, and then that bus takes me back to Sea Palling by request only at that time. But if nobody wants to go to Sea Palling, I suppose it doesn't go. Looks as if the tide has reached its high tide and is gradually receding now. .25. Towards the pullover where I came down. Most of the crowds gathered around that area. Very nearly reached the end of this trek along the beach. So that's the end of the walk along the beach. We've come to the pullover just here. Just to how the official way is blocked off at this end. So up the ramp. Now there was a sign towards the top that directed us along the pullover and along the prom. Looks as if it's up this second slope. As there's the sign directing this way. Now does it mean down these steps? I'm going to go and see. So on to the lower prom. There's the Coast Guard. Another busy beach. This looks like the main beach at Mundesley, much busier than the other one. Must be nearer to the car park, so people don't have so far to walk. Seems to be a promenade to walk along most of the way anyway. Don't know whether I can get around this one. Down the steps here onto the beach, or is it round here up these steps? Let's try it up these steps. No, it looks as if they only lead to the properties here, so it's down to the beach we've got to go. And up the slipway, rather steep.